So, good afternoon and good evening to everyone. So, we are done discussing the evaluation. So, after that is before that is what we call the implementation. So, the question here is, does the curriculum development end with evaluation? So, the answer to that question is yes. So, according to some models, as you can remember, Hilda Tapa and Ralph Tyler, they said that since curriculum development is a continuous process, it can also be viewed like a pie. So this is what we are going to discuss. The pie stands for the planning, implementing, and evaluating. So this pie is a cyclical process, which means that after evaluating, the process of planning starts again. So now, as our introduction, we will now proceed to our main discussion, that is mainly talk about the planning, implementing, and evaluating the connections. So let's first discuss the evaluation cycle. So what are the connections of, or what are the evaluation cycle? So now we have the implementing, planning, and assessing. So as I've mentioned earlier, these are the three processes in the curriculum development that are taken, of course, separately but are connected. So the cycle continues as each is embedded in a dynamic change that happens in the curriculum development. So as you can see here, planning is an initial process in a curriculum development. So it includes determining the needs through an assessment. So needs would include those of the learners, the teachers, the community, and the society as those relate to curriculum. So after the needs have been identified, the intended outcomes are set. So the intended outcomes is just like our objectives should be SMART. So we discussed that to our previous topic. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, with result, and with the frame of time. So the intended outcome should be doable, of course, achievable, and desired. So after establishing this, then a teacher or the curricularist should find out in planning the ways of achieving the desired outcomes. So these are the ways and means, of course, and the strategies to achieve the outcome. So together with the methods and strategies are the identification of the support materials. So all of these should be written and should include the means of evaluation. So the examples of a curriculum plan is, as we discussed this also to our previous lesson, is the lesson plan. So it is a written document. So many planners would say a good plan is half of the work done. So in a curriculum development, a well-written plan ensures a successful implementation. So the end product of planning is a written document. So always remember, the end product of planning is a written document. So some outputs of the curriculum planning are lesson plans, unit plan, syllabus, course design, modules, books, the instructional guides, or even a new science curriculum. So what should be implemented? So that is the second question. So the planned curriculum which was written should be implemented, of course. So it has to be put in action or used by a curriculum implementer who is a teacher. So the curriculum plan should not remain as a written document. So it will become useless. So a curriculum planner can also be a curriculum implementer. So in fact, a curriculum planner who implements the curriculum must have a full grasp of what is to be done. So that is the most important thing, or the most important role of the teacher. So with a well-written curriculum plan, a teacher can execute this with the help of instructional materials, the equipment, the resource materials, and enough time, of course. So the curriculum implementer must also see to it that the plan which serves as a guide is executed correctly. So we need to consider also the strategies and the ways on how to implement the well-written lesson plan. So the skills and the ability of the teacher to impart and guide learning are necessary in the curriculum implementation. So it is necessary that the end in view or the intended outcomes will be achieved in the implementation. So next is we have the evaluating. So the focus of this chapter is the evaluation after planning. So after the planning, it follows the implementation. So it is very necessary to find out at this point if the planned or written curriculum was implemented successfully and the desired learning outcomes were achieved. So the curriculum evaluation as a big idea may follow evaluation models which can be used for programs and projects. So these models discussed in the previous lesson guide the process and the corresponding tools that will be used to measure outcomes. So however, when used for assessment or learning, which is also evaluation, more attention is given to the levels of assessment for the levels of learning outcomes as identified by the department education. So the use of the description for the proficiency of the learner is described by the qualified values of the weighted test scores in interval scale. So I want you to remember this. So what has been planned should be implemented, and what has been implemented should be evaluated. So again, what has been planned should be implemented, and what has been implemented should be evaluated. So these are the evaluation cycle. So the connections between the planning, the implementation, and the evaluation. So again, what has been planned should be implemented, and what has been implemented should be evaluated. So after the evaluation cycle or the let's proceed the development reforms and the enhancement. So, this topic would bring us to some curricular developments, reforms, and assessments. So, as the Philippine education braces itself with the ASEAN and the rest of the world, there is a need to embark on the enhancement and reforms of the curriculum. So, as a curriculum knower, the designer, the implementer, and the evaluator, substantial knowledge of some of these reforms is necessary. So, let's proceed here in the curriculum designers. Curriculum designers. So, the curriculum designers need to enhance the curriculum and propose curriculum innovations to respond to the changing educational landscape in the country as well as in other parts of the globe. So it is most necessary that as a future curricularist and a teacher, you should familiar with what is happening and will happen in our curriculum. So there is no substitute for being ready and informed. So in this topic, you will have a comprehensive knowledge on curricular reforms initiated in the Philippines and abroad to improve the quality of teaching and learning. So the curriculum designers need to enhance the recommended curriculum and the proposed curricular innovations to respond to the changing landscape in education regionally and globally. So, are you aware of some curricular reforms in the Philippines and other countries? So, if it's not, let us embrace or let us hear or study the Republic Act of 100533, so known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. So it is the latest education reform in the Philippine education signed into the law by President Benigno Aquino III last May 2012. So it is an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for the basic education, appropriating funds. So therefore, for other purpose, the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, properly known as K-12. So this includes the kindergarten education, the elementary education, and the secondary education. And also, the senior high school with the K-12, the existing 10 years of basic education is increased to 12 years with kindergarten education as a prerequisite to entry in grade 1. So additional to secondary education that consists of 4 years of junior and 2 years of senior high school. So the additional 2 years in the secondary education is what we call the senior high school. So the 4 years of secondary education is called as a junior high school. So why K to 12? So K to 12 makes the Philippine education system at par with the international standard of 12-year basic education. So thereby contributing to a better educated society capable of pursuing productive employment, entrepreneurship, or higher education studies. So after going through entrepreneurship or higher education studies, after going through kindergarten, elementary, a junior, and a special senior high school program, every K to 12 is ready to go into a different path, higher education, middle levels, skills development, employment, or entrepreneurship. So the K to 12 graduates are also expected to be equipped with the 21st century skills like information, media, and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, so effective communication skills, and life and career skills. So when the K to 12 launched in 2012, many Filipinos were apprehensive, not accepted, or because of the additional of 2 more years in the secondary education. So some said the additional 2 years are added burden for the average Filipino family. So others said the K to 12 program is doomed to fail since it does not address the basic problems in education life hack of classroom, chairs, books, teachers, quality teaching, and many more. So, amidst those criticism, the Department of Education pushed for the K-12 implementation and what should be the reasons. So, number one, so let's consider the reason of the K-12 implementation. So, number one is the mastery of basic competencies is insufficient due to congested curriculum. So our government observed that when it comes to the international examinations, the Philippines perform poorly, and that is why one of the factors that contribute to the low performance in achievement tests is the congested basic education curriculum. So what other countries teach in um, 12 years, the Philippines teach only here in 10 years. So the 10 years would not be enough to master the competencies. So the adding 2 years would make possible the decongestion of the curriculum for comprehensive acquisition of basic competencies in the 21st century. So the second one is the Philippines is the only remaining country in Asia with a 10-year basic education programs. So the short duration of the basic education program also puts millions of overseas Filipino workers, especially the professionals, and those who intend to study abroad at a disadvantage. So the graduates of the Philippine schools are not automatically recognized as a professionals outside the country because of lack of 2 years in education. So according to Bologna, imposes 12 years of education for university admission and practice of profession in the European countries. So in Washington, they prescribe 12 years at basic education as an entry to recognition of the engineering professionals. So with the K-12 Filipino professionals would have be the same competitive edge with the professionals in other countries having gone through 12 years of education. So by the way, the recommendation to improve and to lengthen the short basic education in the Philippines has been given since 1925. So as one of the most well-studied reforms, recommendations of either adding or restoring the 7th grade or adding an extra year to basic education have been put forward. So after the K-12 implementation, so let's now study the employability of Filipino high school graduates. So the K-12 program or the curriculum prepares the students for the world of work, middle level skills development, entrepreneurship, and a college education. So as early as grade 7 and grade 8, the students is made to explore at least is in the core area of technology and youth education or TLE, namely home economics, ICT, industrial arts, agriculture, and fishery. So in grade 10 and grade 12, the student is supposed to have obtained the national certificate or the NC level 1 and the NC level 2 from TESDA. So the NC1 and NC2 make a grade 12 graduate employable. So the short duration of basic education in the Philippines resulted to a 15-year-old graduates who are not legally employable. So with the implementation of the K-12, the graduates of senior high is 18 years old who is legally employable according to the resolution or according to the government who implemented the K-12 program. So let us continue exploring the K-12 curriculum. So the Section 5 of the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 stipulates the following curricular standards which the curriculum developers adhere to in crafting the K-12 curriculum. So number 1 is the curriculum shall be learner-centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate. So as you can see in our old curriculum, it may teacher centered or the curriculum centered, but in the K-12 curriculum, it is learner centered. Second one is the curriculum shall be relevant, responsive, and research based. That's why, as you observe in our K-12, they are more involved in a research subjects, and the relevancy and the responsiveness of the curriculum responds or interrelated to the 21st century. Number 3 is the curriculum shall be culture sensitive. Number 4 is the curriculum shall be contextualized and global. So the K-12 program encourage teachers to enhance the skills of our students to upgrade their knowledge. So number 5 is the curriculum use pedagogical approaches such as constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. So the curriculum shall adhere to the principles of framework of the mother tongue-based multilingual education. So as you can hear, the MTBML so which starts from where the learners are and from what they already knew, proceeding from the known to the unknown. So instructional material and capable teachers to implement the MTB-MLE curriculum shall be available. So for example, your mother tongue is English. So your teacher must teach you in a English language or in English in English language. For example, you are in the place wherein your mother tongue is Bisaya, so your teacher must teach the lesson in Bisaya. So number 7 is the curriculum shall use the spiral progression approach to ensure mastery of knowledge and skills after each level. Last is the curriculum shall be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same based on their respective educational and social context. So the production and development of locally produced teaching material shall be encouraged, and approval of these materials shall devolve to the regional and division education units. So as we can see in our third, our materials and our curriculum shall be culture sensitive. So let's now proceed to the core curriculum of the senior high school curriculum. So there are 4 tracks in a senior high school. So these are the academic track, tech voc or technological vocational, arts and design track, that is the humanities. So the academics track has 4 strands, namely science, technology, engineering, and math, or what we call the STEMs. We have also the humanities and social sciences, that is what we call HUMS, and accounting and business and management, the ABM, and the general academic, which is the GAS. So this means that at grade level, the student chooses which track to pursue, and if she chooses the academic, she must also choose which strand. So if a student intends to go to college after grade 12, then she must take the academic track. So the college program which he wants to enroll in determines which strand to take, for example, the STEMs, UMS, or ABM. If a senior high school student wants to pursue tech courses or technological vocational, um, so he or she takes the tech voc track. So she who is interested in arts and design will pursue the arts and design track. So the sport track will be for any senior high school student. So the senior high school curriculum has a total of 31 subjects. So the 31 subjects are grouped into 15 core subjects and the 7 contextualized applied subjects and 9 specialization subjects. So this is the example of the course subjects. So we will not discuss that anymore. So you can read it so you are familiar with the core subjects of the K to 12. So if you are or undergone a K to 12 or the additional 2 years, you are familiar with the following subjects. So these are the core subjects when it comes to academic track, and this on the other side when it comes to tech voc. So other descriptive titles also included here. These are the specialization subjects. So for example, in ABM, more on the business math, more on the principles of marketing, and etc. When it comes to academic track or STEM, more on sciences, biologies, and etc. In UMS or the humanities, more on the creative writing, literature, politics, and etc. So in GAS, we have the humanities, we have the electives, the work immersion, and research. If you are specialized in sports, of course, the subjects are related to sport. In arts and design, for example, in terms of performing arts, work environments in arts, and etc. So that's all for today's discussion. So the same mechanics, I will send the link of your quiz to our official group chat. Ready. So good evening, everyone. So this will be your quiz. So I am sorry for my end statement in our video. So for your quiz, this is the general direction. Answer the question and write your answers in the comment section following the given format. So this is worth 50 points. So this is the format. So you need to put first your name and your blank and then your answer. So this is the question. Reflect on the statement below and comment. The K to 12 is bound to fail because it is implemented early without thorough planning. So I will wait for your answers. There is no time limit. You can answer anytime within the night. Okay, thank you very much and God bless.